I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Calvadas.
Here.
Mr. Cavas.
Here.
Mrs. Passio.
Here.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Here.
Mr. White.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Beatrice.
Here.
Mr. Kennedy.
Here.
And Mr. Basil.
Here.
Public notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meeting Act has been given by the clerk in the following manner. 1, posted on the bulletin board in the Borough Clerk's office on January 4, 2012. 2, emailed to the retrospective Current Post newspaper on January 4, 2012. Approval of minutes.
Motion is in order for approval of the 8/7/12 minutes.
I move for adoption of minutes.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Reports?
Yeah, the report of the construction official for the month of August, a total of $17,626 was collected for various permits, including COs. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the treasurer for the month of, period ending 8/31/12. Total in all accounts, $3,527,965.05. We have the report of the police chief for the month of August. A total of $77.40 was collected for various accident discoveries, solicitor reports, over requests, and firearm permits. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the borough clerk for the month of August. A total of $806.20 was collected for various licenses and permits, including pet licenses. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. The report of the registrar of vital statistics for the month of August. A total of $3,452 was collected for various death copies, marriage copies, and marriage licenses. All monies were turned over to the treasurer. The report of the fire marshal for the month of August. A total of $2,314 was collected for various fees. There were 69 inspections completed, 122 total incidents, 4 special use permits issued, and $21,417.91 in emergency medical services billing collected, and all monies were turned over to the treasurer. We have the report of the tax collector for the month of August. A total of $2,100,547.03 was collected for taxes, and a total of $59,503.76 in sewer fees. And that's the end of my reports. All those monies were turned over to the treasurer.
Can I have a motion?
Move to receive, follow, reserve.
All those in favor? Ayes have it. Communications.
The first is a thank you note from Mayor Calvadas for the fruit basket during her fitness center and every cup.
Make a motion to receive and follow communication with welcome back to Maryland.
Yeah, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Committee reports.
Yes, I got a couple of raffle licenses. Can I combine them all? Motion at the end? Yeah, it seems to be. Raffle license 1213, the GFWC Women's Club Basket Auction for 10/24/12, all paperwork in order. Raffle license 1214, 50/50 on premise raffle, Holy Child Parish, 1613, all paperwork is in order. Bingo license 1205, Knights of Columbus / Holy Child Parish, 12713, all paperwork is in order. And another bingo license 1206, Holy Child Parish, various dates, all paperwork is in order.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Is that okay with various dates?
Yeah, there's a whole list of,
Oh,
that's how we do, we usually don't get bingo at this time of year, usually the beginning of the year, but for some reason they started now into next year. So there's about, I don't know, about 15 dates.
The other thing in public safety right now is, with the fire department, their contract is up. They asked if we could sit down and start talking public safety with them. I told them, yeah, we'd be no problem with that. It was heard that one of our officers is apparently leaving us, Joe Murray. He got an offer to go to Franklin Township, excuse me, and he doesn't have a start date, but he's excited that he's going to become, instead of a special, a full-time officer. So if you see him, he does a nice job. Kid really works, so you could thank him. Other than that, the overtime is 12 hours this month, so they're doing a nice job. That e-ticket thing is working out pretty well, too. So, so far so good with the police department, and the fire. And I'll comment a couple other things when Eddie's up. How the roads and all look. Thank you.
Thank you. Under personnel, we received 2 thank yous, and most of the people know this, only St. Vincent de Paul, they thanked us for the $500 check from the water company, and these funds will help and continue to serve the needy family in the Runnemede area. And we got a thank you card from the Trinity Lutheran Church thanking us for the $500 check for their food bank also. So they all were really happy with it. Other than that, we'll just say everything's fine. Finances?
Thank you very much, Mayor. We have a number of resolutions having to do with finance. I'll let Richard take care of that. I need to report that we lost one of our former candidates, Joe Oakley, who was an intricate part of the civic committee. Joe helped us out a lot, and we're sadly missing. So with that, I'll report progress and wait to Richard as he explains these resolutions, etc. And one other thing, I hope, can you enlighten that on the monthly report for this reassessment? Yes. Thank you. All right, Richard.
Thank you. Brad Williams?
Pretty much on the roadside, we're looking into, for the Harry Williams building, the LED lights and the sodium lights. Nick?
Yes.
I guess you would know even more about lighting than I would, but I think it makes sense. Talk to Rich and John, it makes sense. It might cost us maybe $10,000, $11,000. And right now, the sodium lights are probably, they run off of what, 440? Okay.
400 watts sodium.
And the LEDs are only running off of what, 110, and that's
Yes.
it. The difference in the lighting, though, is when the sodium starts going down, you can see different light shadows all over the place, okay? And the LEDs are just on and off, and that's it. It doesn't take no warm-up time, so we're looking into that. We're down at Beaver Branch right now, we just ran the pipe, okay? The only thing we have to do is do the cutout to the manhole. The water's ran, everything's pretty nice down there. The only thing I'm not happy with, sweeping a little bit, so I raised a little hell down there. The dirt. And pretty much that's my report, okay, right now, all right, for the roads. And seems to be going, John's doing a hell of a job. John's on his game. And like I said, whatever he needs, he knows, he calls, and that's it. But like I say, with the Beaver Branch, everything's, other than a little mud, and I think from a lot of it's from the storms that we've been having, washing the mud away and stuff like that. But we're saving a lot of money down there by doing it ourselves. And we also, actually, it was a spec, I think, Mark, for copper. We changed it to PVC, which is saving us, I guess, $3,000 or $4,000, right? Somewhere around there. So, the road department's doing a good job. And also keeping up with all the rest of the stuff in town. That's my report.
Thank you, Frank. Nick?
Thank you. Yes, to follow up on the lights, the savings, we would get that money back. The return on the investment would probably be less than a year. We changed them because they're using 3/4 less electricity than the ones that we're currently using. And we just had an experience, we had 18 lights in the building and 6 of them were out. So we just fixed them and now that's what really started to make us, we just changed light bulbs, but we're seeing how much we're wasting. And there is a grant out there also, if we remember a few years ago, the school had come in front of us and they had received the energy efficient grant. Remember that, Tony? And then you were supposed to get it the next year, so maybe there's an opportunity for us to do that. The park, I know Ed's going to report on it, but it's also, yes, the bathrooms, the pipe that Frank was talking about for the bathrooms is being put in. It looks great. Correct, by the public works employees doing the work. It saved us a tremendous amount of cost. They're doing a very nice job. They did 700 feet of pipe in what was it, 4 days?
4 days, I think.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah.
Summer rec was successful. We had over 130 kids. It ended. We did extend it for an extra 2 weeks. We're evaluating that. We did well with money coming in to pay for that. We learned a lot. When you have that many kids, there's things you do learn about it. So we might make some changes next year in recreation. The other thing is tonight we had 2 proclamations. During the summer rec program, we did receive $1,500 from Mike Palmieri, who's the owner of American Discount Fence and Lindmar Builders. That paid for the extra time. The kids went on a trip and some other things. And then the Rotary Club sponsored the music program, which paid for the teacher that came in from Volts to teach the kids, and that was another $1,500. So we were supplemented $3,000 program this year. And other than that, I'm just going to report. Well, I have one last thing. Rich, do you want me to bring up the management of the Harry Williams building? You know, in the past several years, the police department has been in charge of opening the doors and closing the doors of the Harry Williams building. It's been an inconvenience not only for the police department, but also for the borough residents who use the building. Because many occasions, the police cannot get there at the time that the residents are using it. So there's families and waiting around. You know, it's not open all the time on time. It's not closed all the time. Lights are left on. We have problems like that. So this year, what we're going to try, the police will no longer be opening and closing the doors. We're going to give that responsibility to the library staff. And the library is already there 5 days a week. They have personnel that they use part-time to do the chores in the library. So they will be opening and closing the building. And then on top of that, they will be doing basic maintenance. So they'll be going inside. Those of you who've seen the Harry Williams building, there's times that the building gets used a lot, so it needs some maintenance. And this way, they will do basic maintenance to the building, basic cleanup. Public Works crew will still be in charge of the building, still take care of the issues like we're having the counties coming in to do training. Public Works will put the tables together and things like that. We do run the elections out of the Harry Williams building. Public Works and the police will still be involved in that. So Mr. Wright, during his report, maybe we can add that resolution on. The recreation budget, we did very well with collecting money. As you can see, $3,000. It's a dedication by Ryder, all the money that we've collected. There is money in the fund to compensate the library for doing this.
Can you turn the phone for sure?
Sure.
I would hope that the library would be discussing at the board of the trustee meeting
Yes.
next Tuesday evening, so
Yes.
I think we're maybe just a little premature.
Well, the only reason I do put this forward, and I hope that the library board would be okay with this, is because the funds would come from the borough to compensate for them. And,
I don't count that at all, but
yeah.
As a member, I think we owe them that kind of courtesy.
Yeah, I did speak
Board.
to some people, but you're right, the board has not met.
Well, we haven't met for 2 months.
Yeah, St. We start, the problem is
No problem.
the issue is that the programs all start. St. Teresa starts tomorrow night. The youth athletics all get geared up right now. We have the high school twirlers comes in. We have, I think we have a packed schedule, right? Almost 100 days of activities in the next 120 days. We're pretty much booked up with things like that. So I would ask the council, you know, we could always say, Tony, that it would also be, if we did this, it would also be a library would have to agree with it. Of course.
I just,
Yeah. I mean, if we say
You
this,
know,
the library has to
I'm
be
sitting
certain.
here and I'm representing the library as a liaison.
Mhm.
This is the first I'm hearing about that, number one, and I don't know, out of courtesy to the rest of the board, if they should be asked if they want to do that. That's all I'm saying.
I think it was, well, I was hoping it was brought to you.
I don't see a problem with it, just, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the police are not here this evening, obviously, it was a big inconvenience, I don't know if Mike,
Yeah.
if you remember that,
They weren't open on time.
but I mean, the chief and the
They weren't done.
patrolman Sampolsky, they all came to us, and we tried, we looked into getting a key fob system, that open and close the lock, and Frank, I think you were part of it, it was close to $8,000. And that still doesn't take care of the problem of who's gonna make sure the door gets locked, and who's gonna maintain the building. So I think maybe in the future, we put the money into the lock system. But I think this is just a stopgap, it would only be from September to December, just to see how it would work, if it's even possible, if it's feasible. I mean, worst case scenario, we go back to the police opening and closing the door, and public works maintaining the building. So that's the only thing
Not
I'm
gonna
gonna
change for us.
Well, let me say, I have no problem with that.
Okay.
But secondly, I just think we ought to give more attention to the people that are using the building, that are not, they find it in good shape, but they don't leave in good shape, and they just walk away. And that's why the Harry Winter building looks like it, why it looks like it as it is today.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to have adult supervision, et cetera, all that. We have, the coaches that are so lazy that they can't even go over and shut the lights up.
Yes, that's true. And that's one of the issues, is you're right, we expect to have the adult supervision, but the problem is we haven't had that for many years, and the lights have been left on, and the problem is the borough taxpayers pay for the lights being left on all the time. And the next people who come in pay the price that the building left in shambles. But other than that, I'd like to report about it. That's not such a question.
Ed?
Road projects are going, had a busy month. East Second, East Third Avenue is pretty much complete. We just got a bunch of the slabs to complete. West Third Avenue is pretty much complete. We have some line striping to do out there. As with our weather, we can't get ready for school. Hopefully it'll be done by school next week. Reed Avenue is coming along nice. We got a late start, but, and the weather's controlling what's going on out there right now. Other than that, we report progress. Moving ahead for next year.
Somebody said they had a question?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. Pat?
Thank you, Mayor Council. National Night Out is the nation's largest annual crime prevention safety event in the country. It involves over 37 million people in 15,000 different communities from all 50 states. It is held on the first Tuesday in August, and on Tuesday, August 7th, Runnemede has their own America's Night Out Against Crime. This event gives individual law enforcement agencies, neighborhood groups, and community organizations an opportunity to come out and get to know one another, and it strengthens the neighborhood spirit and the police-community partnership. I wanted to thank Captain Paul Daly and the police department for this huge success, where businesses came out and contributed freely their time and money. It was a free night for our community to enjoy fun, food, and knowledge. And I just wanted to thank some of the sponsors, which were Deluxe Bakery, Matlack Insurance, Runnemede Toyota, Rita's Water Ice, Gardner's Funeral Home, Sperado's Deli, J&B Boats, Bernie's Auto, Sports Depot, Beaverbrook Motors, Suburban Radio, Carousel and Pizza, the Runnemede Police Dare Education, the Runnemede Women's Club, Runnemede Fire Company, Runnemede Green Team, TD Bank, Public Works for setting up and cleaning up. And thank you to the community who came out and enjoyed the night with us. And last but not least, a special thank you to our very own Runnemede Canine Police Officer Wolf. And if I forgot anybody, I am truly sorry. And this concludes my report.
Thank you, Pat. Administration, Richard?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I will backtrack if that's okay with everyone. Let's start with the reassessment. There's a couple items on tonight's agenda, and also we receive a monthly report that our assessor files with the county. I met with him and had him expand on that report, so I can give you, I guess, a detailed report. Basically, there's two, I'm going to rehash what we talked about for the benefit of folks that weren't here back in February when we originally discussed this, but there's two avenues you can go. You can do a reassessment, which is what's done internally with your own staff and consultants, or you can do a revaluation, which is where you contract with a company to come in and do it. And it's a little less formal, and that's my term, not the official term, if you do a reassessment, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper. I crunched some numbers here while I was waiting, and we have 2,780 line items, basically. There's 2,599 residential and about 180 commercial. What we did was we looked at comparable revals and reassessments, and if you look at Oakland, Haddon, Lawnside, Brooklawn, and Belmar, they're all different sizes, but if you do it by line item, the average for those properties was $87 per line item. If you look at a comparable reassessment, the Borough of Magnolia was done in 2012. It was put on the book for $50 a line item. And the Borough of Runnemede is estimated at approximately $43 per line item. So basically, our total budget comes out to approximately $120,000. It would be double that, more or less, if we put out the bid, and that's based on the averages that the other towns were facing. So it was definitely an economic benefit to go this route. So I just wanted to rehash on that. There's a request on tonight's agenda because the state statute allows you to defer this cost over 5 budget cycles because it benefits more than 1 year. So we're asking for a special emergency appropriation to fund this over 5 budget cycles. So it'll be in the next 5 budgets at approximately $24,000 each of those years. So we front the cash now, and we'll raise it in each succeeding budget. There's also a resolution authorizing this process to take place on the agenda. To give you an update of where we stand, because we're pretty far along, the date that's going to be used for the reassessment, when you say, well, what is this value date as of that they're using, is going to be October 1st of 2012. That's the official date for striking the values. It's going to take a few weeks after that date comes, to finalize some of the paperwork that they have. They're still currently doing some final inspections and looking over some of the commercial properties at this time. They will send letters out sometime after November 10th to the homeowners and to the business owners. And that was based off of the previews. Council had the final say on what that letter looks like. We saw some samples. It'll basically tell them what their new values are going to be. Once those letters go out, there will be an official meeting held. And I can tell you in the past how it's been done is they'll say on such and such date, if you come to Borough Hall in the council chambers, someone would meet with you to go over if you had any questions. They will also, Brian said, take phone calls. If it can be handled over a phone call, if it was that simple, they would handle it that way. But if you actually had a question, how did they come up with that number, they will be meeting. The book is then filed on January 10th with the county. So that would be the official date. And then the residents, if they still didn't agree with the value, would have until May 1st of 13 to file an official tax appeal on the value. So that's the most summarized and condensed report that I can give you. That's about where we are and what we have left to go in the process. We have the funding coming up now, and I guess we're just waiting for the October date so that they can look at any sales that are still pending at that point in time for use for comparables and things of that nature. So that's where we stand, and that's as of tonight when I spoke with Brian. That will cover that. On the personnel issue, I was going to mention, but the director's already stated that we've been requested by the IAFF to sit down and start negotiations and see how far we can get on our own without labor council and things of that nature. So I'm sure the Public Safety Committee will be working on a meeting over the coming weeks to get that started. Also on the agenda tonight, there's 2 temporary road help appointments. One of them, we had a gentleman that's worked with us for some time who moved on to a career path, and he respectfully gave us 2 weeks notice and has moved on. And the other one is replacing an employee that's no longer with us. So we figured that we would go with the temporary seasonal help at this point in time with the 2, with the leaf season coming up. So
Whoever the winner is.
yes, we're hoping to have one permanent winner. So it's an every day on the job interview, for lack of a better phrase. Also, there's 2 capital items on tonight's agenda. The first one we spoke about at the last meeting, and that was with regards to completing Green Acres Park. The action before you is requesting authorization for a line item for $150,000. And I did the supplemental debt statement tonight, and the impact that that would have on us at this present point in time, we just paid off last month $141,000. The bonding portion of that 150 is 142, so we're just about neutral by a couple $1,000. So we had some debt retired, and we're putting new debt on as far as how we pay for it. So our equalized valuation percentage stays at 0.96. It did not change. So the max is 3.5. And from a finance point of view, I just wanted to note that we had 14 people last month utilize the online payment, and we took in $30,000. Just around that report, I thought Joyce would like to know those numbers, and the council would like to know those numbers. So folks are using the online payment for their taxes this time around. So we'd like to make sure that every avenue possible. I think we had about 10 items that have come in through the mailbox. Maybe that hasn't caught on yet, but as I say, the Dropbox.
Yeah.
So, and it's only been there for a few weeks, so. But at this point, unless someone has specific questions, when we get to the resolutions, that's the report.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two items just briefly to discuss. One, I'm actually going to steal Mr. Bayshaw's thunder a little bit. On one of them, I've had some discussions with Mr. Bayshaw about our 2012 handicap road program, handicap ramp program, and the fact that the lowest bidder did not perform according to the contract. Matter of fact, they never came to at all. Right. So Mark has submitted a letter telling them that we've terminated the contract, and we have discussed the possibility of submitting the job to the second lowest bidder. And it's my understanding that they're willing to do that at the rate that they originally quoted. So I think there's a recommendation, and Mark will speak to the recommendation. I just wanted from the legal standpoint to let you know that that would be an appropriate remedy, and to the extent that there is any liquidated damages, we can talk about pursuing that through their contract and possibly a bid bond, presuming that they submit.
What was the difference between the two bids?
I actually have a typo in my report. Their bid for everything with the base and the alternates was $71,740. The Escatade construction was like $86,780, about $15,000 difference.
So we go after the first contractor for the $15,000?
Well, basically, what we would want to do is try to get it from the bid bond. When you bid these programs, you have to submit a bond, and it's 10% or $20,000. So we should have a bid bond of $20,000 that's available. So we can contact the bonding company and tell them that that's what we're going to do. The second item that I wanted to discuss was I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention that there has been an application submitted to the clerk for a massage parlor in town, which I am reviewing the application for completeness. There's, as you may recall, there is quite a very extensive massage parlor ordinance that we have in town, and there's very strict requirements that they have to comply to. So I'm actually reviewing the application I submitted to make sure that it's complete as it is right now. It's not quite yet complete. There are some additional information there.
Is this a working home application or a zoning application?
Where are we located?
It's on the paper. It's in there.
So there's no marking, so.
There's
One of the shopping centers. One down by the Pats's.
Where are we? Oh, Pat State?
Well, that's it then.
Yeah, I wasn't really concerned about the location, actually. And that concludes my report.
More?
Give a copy of my report to everybody, I'd like to go over a few of the items. Under general engineering, NJDOT has announced that state aid applications for fiscal year 2013 are now open, and we have until October 16th for this year to get them submitted. The next step would be to decide on what road to submit for municipal aid. Last year, we did Reed Avenue Phase 2. If we want to resubmit that, we can. It's probably a good candidate because it's continuing on an existing DOT project.
Excuse me, Mark?
Yes.
Perhaps on the front for next week?
Pardon me?
You'll have your recommendation for next week?
Yeah, we marked with, department on, city would be that. Project we can launch.
Didn't they charge down last time for the,
We had gotten 250,000, I believe, through discretionary aid for phase 1. I think it's a good application. It's just that they're trying to spread the money around to different municipalities. So usually when you continue an existing DOT project, it gets some bonus points when they rate it. So I think it's a good candidate. We don't need a resolution tonight, but if I get consensus from council, if that's what you want to do, we can start the application process. And then we wouldn't need the resolution until, the October meeting. We have to October 16th to get it done. Unless you just want a recommendation from out of the engineering construction. That's up to
Do resolution tonight.
I don't need a resolution, I can just get a consensus if that's what you want to do, and we can put it on for next month.
yeah, I mean, if Reed seems favorable, I just remembered that they had denied us.
Yes.
So you're saying it was a different type of money though?
No,
That was-
the state, when they canceled the money last year, they not us.
Yeah, the application it wasn't successful, but it was because we had just gotten 250,000 through discretionary aid for phase 1. It's just a matter of, I think,
And if you think we'll get it, I agree, finish the road.
And you're more inclined to get it as a continuation.
Is that gonna be enough to finish all the way down, or do you think that?
we'll see what we get from it. Depends how much they want to do out. That's all a function of state politics. The 2012 handicap ramp program Jack talked about, Diamond Construction was a low bidder. As I mentioned, I have a typo in my report. The bid that they submitted and we awarded was $71,740. And that was for the handicap ramps, the speed humps, and the hybrid crosswalks. So it was $71,740. As Jack mentioned, we terminated the contract with Diamond Construction. The second lowest bidder is Espetata Construction, and they're the current contractor out on Reed Avenue. They did submit a letter to me today saying they're willing to hold their prices from their bid. So your option is you could award it to the second low bidder right now if you wanted to, and that way we'd be able to get it constructed before the cold weather sets in. Your option is just to reject all the bids and re-advertise, but you won't be doing it until next spring. And there's no guarantee that the 86,000 will be the low bid this time. So I would just recommend that you award it to Espetata, and
In the meantime, who puts up the difference in town?
yes, they will.
And then we're gonna have to sue to get the money?
We're gonna have to.
Yeah, well, I'm saying,
We're gonna
we're not
take
gonna
action.
just hand it over, are they? We have to go the legal way.
Well, you're gonna have to take action against the funds.
Right, but I mean, it's gonna cost more money with the, coming in here, the lawyer's fees and all that too.
Well, yeah,
We're holding the bonds and just a little bit of it.
yeah, it would be about.
I understand, but it's gonna take
Oh, I'm sure it
council
will.
time and money too. So we get that back.
Get 20,000.
They won't give you the 20, will they? They'll just give you the difference.
We can work, we can work on that.
Well, I think it's important to finish the project. I mean, these, was it 36 ramps or how many? You know, all
Mostly
around
around,
the school.
mostly around the schools, yes.
So we need a resolution for that, this evening?
Yeah, we need a resolution to rescind the first one and
Well, you should
award it to
do,
the second lowest
you
bidder.
should do a resolution terminating the contract. And then awarding it to the second. Because we did by resolution award the contracts, you need to do do a resolution rescinding that resolution.
Okay. The other road projects that talked about, Reed Avenue Phase 1 moving along really nicely. They're expecting to finish the concrete flat work this week and then do the paving next week. East 3rd and East 2nd, we're just in the punch list phase at this point. Same way with West 3rd, some striping and punch list work. Beaver Branch Park improvements, on page 3, the soccer fields we awarded last month to Command Company. I just got the contracts back from Joyce, so I'll be able to set up the pre-construction meeting with the contractor, get going on the soccer fields and irrigation well. And then once the funds are in place for the bathroom, we'll be able to award that. We'll have to wait another month, or will that be after tonight's meeting that you can certify all the funds?
And the latest that we have for the next meeting.
Okay. The 2011 road program, we had some punch list work. All that's been taken care of. The last item was just some paving out by the optical store, and that's all taken care of now. And now I'm going to jump to page 6 on my report. And Route 168 revitalization phase 2, there was also some punch list work, and we've got confirmation that everything's been completed. The sprinkler systems that were a problem have all been resolved, so we're going to proceed with all the paperwork for that. And that pretty much concludes my report, unless anybody has any questions about anything at this point in time.
Two questions. Public Works Garage.
Yeah.
This LSRP is fire. Does he tell anything, or what's he supposed to give you?
Steve forwarded him all the information, he's reviewing the files, also going for 3 other of our clients. So it's just a slow process I'm hoping to get a meeting with him, go over where we stand and what the next step is.
And the other one, Cali Court, has not been dedicated back to the borough yet.
We had submitted a punch list to the applicant. They had to do some work with the, I believe it was the pump station, they actually put in an emergency generator, and they had to do some fence work. That's been 6 months ago, and I have not heard when they plan on doing it, so until that happens, we can't recommend dedication of the road back to them.
The problem is, we don't plow that road, it's
No.
not our road, and we were getting a fee for plowing it, but honestly, that's an inconvenience for us. These roads just don't.
I'm not going to recommend it until all the punch list work is done.
There's no way to push it and
That would
finish.
be correct.
You could certainly do that. I mean, you can direct them that they need to finish the punch list, or they're gonna be responsible for maintaining the road.
Or do we want the bond, it's a bond, we can also put out there and finish the work. How long do we give them to finish the work?
The bond is open until it's complete.
Yeah.
So the bond stays open. If they, I guess, worst case scenario, is if they don't do the punch list, then we can advise them, put them on notice that we're going to do the punch list and take out the bond. Typically, when you write letters like that, it typically gets them to do it. Bond company will mark that.
We want to do that, Ed, did you look at? I haven't really been down there. Yeah, I mean, last time I was there was when they paved the road. I didn't realize there were problems with the pump station.
I think Greg, get a letter, get a move, see what it does, and if we don't do it, then we have to follow.
Because you remember, we had a lot of complaints from the residents, they were saying, why aren't we plowing over the road, and different things like that.
You want that letter to come from me or from Jack?
It should probably come from me, but I'll talk to you, Mark.
Yeah.
Particularly.
I'll forward you our last correspondence to them. They also had us submit some escrow money, and they did that. That was to cover our inspections, but they've never followed through.
And these are obviously, these are personal items that they knew they were supposed to do this from the get-go.
They were on the approved plan, from the planning
Okay.
board. And I believe they were using somehow they were using a shared talk with the neighboring town if they have an emergency out there. It's just two courts that back up to each other. But when they wanted to dedicate the road, they contacted us and we reviewed and they weren't in compliance with the plans.
Do you have any old business that we have to go this week? New business?
First thing we have is a proclamation. Mayor and council presented to Runnemede General Borough Rotary Club. We take this opportunity to honor you and to recognize the generosity that you have shown by making a donation to the Runnemede Summer Recreation Program. This donation has established the Jonathan Intermounty Memorial Summer Music Camp as a new and exciting addition to our summer program. We also wish to express the gratitude of the citizens of the Borough of Runnemede for this contribution, which helps to enrich the lives of our children. Mayor and council, September 2012. We have another proclamation to Michael Palmieri, who's with American Discount Fence and Lindmar Builders. We take this opportunity to honor you and to recognize the generosity you have shown by making a donation to the Runnemede Summer Recreation Program. We also wish to express the gratitude of the citizens of the Borough of Runnemede for the contribution you have made to our municipality over the years. Mayor and council, September 2012. I don't know how many people know that they donate all those baskets during the year.
I don't think anybody does.
I make a comment on that?
Yeah,
About all stuff we've done.
I believe it's Mr. Palmieri wishes that.
he doesn't recognize. He doesn't want to be recognized.
Of course, I must admit that I think a lot of members of council, we were surprised we got baskets. Well, that's another story.
Thank you.
Resolution 12-105 is a resolution adjusting sewer charges.
Move the adoption of those items.
Have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier.
Yes.
Mr. Capadas.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice.
Yes.
6 ayes.
I declare that this resolution is now adopted.
Resolution 12-106, this is a resolution authorizing the collector to hold the tax sale for prior year delinquent municipal charges, which will be on October 18th, by the way.
Move the adoption.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Capadas.
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice.
Yes.
6 ayes.
Declare that this resolution is now adopted.
Resolution 12-107 is a resolution authorizing the collection of fees and costs from delinquent taxpayers prior to the tax year.
Move the adoption.
Motion. Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Capadas.
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice.
Yes.
6 ayes.
I declare this resolution is now adopted.
Resolution 12-108 is a resolution authorizing property maintenance liens on various properties.
Move the adoption.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier.
Yes.
Mr. Capadas.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Beatrice.
Yes.
This resolution is now adopted.
Resolution 12-109 is a resolution to renew membership in the Southern New Jersey Regional Employee Benefits Fund.
Move the resolution.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier.
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Yes.
Mr. Capadas.
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice.
Yes.
6 ayes.
I declare that this resolution is now adopted.
Resolution 12-110 is a resolution awarding a contract to Office Basics Cape Smart as part of the cooperative pricing system. for copy, computer, paper, and envelopes. This is our county co-op that we buy our paper from.
Move for adoption. Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Capadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
6 ayes.
I declare this resolution is now adopted.
This is Resolution 12-111, is a resolution confirming 2012 appointments. Nicole Papicelli, crossing guard, Matthew J. Zugi, a temporary labor, and Clinton Scott Forge is a temporary labor.
Move for adoption.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier?
Yes.
Mr. Capadas?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
6 ayes.
Declare resolution is now adopted.
Resolution 12-112, this is a resolution authorizing the cancellation of a 2011 senior deduction chargeback for block 140, lot 10.
Move for adoption. Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Capadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
6 ayes.
I declare that this resolution is now adopted.
This will be first reading for bond ordinance 1209, authorizing the completion of various capital improvements for Green Acres Park in Borough Meeting for the sum of $150,000.
Move the adoption of ordinance at 1209, on first reading, advertised according to law, with a public hearing to be held the second day of October, 2012, the meeting beginning at 5:30.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Capadas?
Yes.
Yes.
6 ayes.
We want to award this contract this evening? Add that on? Finalize that? Do we got the money? Do we want to award it to that?
No, it's not there yet.
Do we have a second reading and then do it?
That's right.
Okay.
Ordinance 12-10 is a bond ordinance authorizing the acquisition of equipment for the sewer utility department in the amount of $75,000.
Move the adoption of ordinance 1210, on first reading, the advertised according to law, public hearing held on October 2nd, 2012, the meeting begins at 5:30 p.m.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passier?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Excuse me. How many ordinances? Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Capadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
So 6 ayes.
Ordinance once we have 12. I declare that this ordinance is adopted.
Next is ordinance 1211. This is an ordinance authorizing expenditures under 48-4-53, special emergency for preparation and execution of a property reassessment.
I move for ordinance at 1211, which will allow us to complete our evaluation. With adoption on first reading, advertising according to law, public hearing held on the second day of October 2012, the meeting at 5:30 p.m.
Second. Roll call.
Mrs. Passier?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Capadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
6 ayes. Next is ordinance 12-12. This is an ordinance regulating the salaries of the employees of the Borough of Runnemede. This is changing the ranges for 2 employees because the ranges were older, we had to update them.
Move for ordinance 1220, first reading, and advertise for the call of hearing be held October 2nd, 2012, and we begin at 5:30.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passios? Yes. Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Kapadas?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
6 ayes.
Resolution is now adopted. Ordinance
Ordinance 12-13 is an ordinance establishing the position of part-time supervising EMT in the Borough of Runnemede.
Move ordinance 1213 for first reading, advertise according to law, public hearing on October 2nd, 2012. The meeting begin at 5:30 p.m.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Kapadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
This ordinance is now adopted.
Resolution 12-113 is a special emergency, according to NJS 4853 at all, for the purposes of preparation and execution of a property reassessment, which is the same as the ordinance that we just did. But the law says we have to do a resolution too and send it up to Fred. So,
I move for resolution 12113.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Kapadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
This resolution is now adopted.
Resolution 12-114 is a resolution regulating the salaries of the employees of the Borough of Runnemede for the year 2012. These are the hourlies.
Move for 12114.
Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Kapadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
6 ayes.
This resolution is now adopted.
Now you have Resolution 115 is a resolution canceling the contract with, what are they, Diamond Construction for the handicap grant.
Second.
Wait a second. Roll call.
Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Kapadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
6 ayes.
This resolution is now adopted.
And Resolution 116 is a resolution awarding the contract for the handicap grant program to Espetada, who was, what do we say that is?
They're now the lowest responsible.
Now they're the lowest responsible bidder.
Repeat that.
Second.
And that was for
Roll call.
86,780. Mrs. Passios?
Yes.
Mr. Kozlowski?
Yes.
Mr. White?
Yes.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Kapadas?
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice?
Yes.
This resolution is now adopted.
Excuse me, ma'am, just to let you know, in the letter that I also sent to them terminating their contracts, I notified them that that would be considered negative prior experience, so if they ever did another job in Runnemede, we could just throw them out.
Okay. Oh, ma'am.
Once again, can I, would you like to put a resolution on the stipend for the manager fees for the residents? With the condition that the library board of that would approve.
I wouldn't jump in it. Let the board meet first before we do anything.
And who's going to open the hiring rates money tomorrow? Please? Mike, you make that call?
You know, I'm going to stick my neck out here and say that I don't see why the board would not approve. So I have no problem with
We can still put the
taking
condition.
the added responsibility of
Just like
the.
there's going to be 3 employees. The librarian will be the management. Joyce would still do all the scheduling and make sure everyone's insurance is correct. And then it would go to librarian Kathy, who would schedule the men to show up, open the door, close the door, 2 part-time employees at the library right now that she could utilize to do this. There was a talk, we did talk about maybe just making it very similar to the summer rec program, where we had like almost a counselor come in, or what we used to do with the special police, where they used to come in, but the cost was prohibitive to do something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, you have a member of the board saying, you all believe,
Okay,
and I'm sure she knows nothing about this.
okay.
Out of respect for the
No,
board.
I appreciate that.
Okay?
But yeah, and that's why I said it, you know, the
But I
board should
I
be.
wouldn't, I wouldn't be opposed to someone who's a board approved it.
But how much would we give them actually?
We would write a check for $3,500 to the library fund, and then they would administer it.
Right, they'll take care, but is that for a year?
That's from September 5th till December 31st.
For 3 months, $3,500.
4 months.
So, and you're gonna go for the year, that's gonna,
Well, no, we'd have to reevaluate it at the end of the year.
because you're gonna go high 3,500. I don't, I mean, I'm a money person, I like the money.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is that the Harry Williams building is not used a lot during the summer. So, Joyce, I think she's got the schedule.
At the end of March.
At the end of March, we're pretty much done. Truman Sanpolsky basically handed the keys over, you know, at the end of March. And then the summer rec took over later on.
I'm going to repeat myself. I don't have any problems with this at all. It doesn't surprise me that the library would offer to take care of this. But secondly, we should not take away the responsibility of the groups that are using the gym.
Oh, I agree 100%. We
I
have a
mean,
policy.
if you take a look at it, it was, I use it quite often with the Civic Association, and then it's testy at times. And then to boot, we have other organizations use it and then call complaint. So we want, I would see if we could eliminate that. And have the people that are using it adhere to the rules and regulations used.
Well, this would be the first step. The gentleman would show up and say that their rental ends at 9 o'clock. He would show up at 8:45 and walk the building. So if you remember a few years ago, we had an incident where a bathroom was vandalized. And by the time we found out about it, we didn't know who had
The water
done
was
it.
running, yeah.
So, in our wisdom, we just charged both St. Teresa and the RYA for the damage to the bathroom. Now, neither group fought the issue, but we couldn't necessarily prove who had done it. And, you know, the damage was just split apart.
Just so we know that the library people, that if anything's wrong, they need to make a call to
We
somebody.
go to public works. I mean, John is aware of this. You know, he understands that they're gonna take over something that he was responsible for, but he's still responsible. We won't have to show up every night.
So we talked about resolution 118.
117.
117. I thought 16 was canceling, 17 was awarding.
No, 15 was canceling, 16
sorry,
was
15?
awarded.
Yes.
Okay, my error.
And
First one
17
is here.
How should this be worded?
To Jeff, can we call this an interlocal between the library? We get credit for,
We could start calling it.
for maintenance and
Whether technically
monitoring.
it applies, I'm not sure, because they're not a government entity, so to speak, but
They're a taxing district.
they are. We could certainly calculate as those terms.
Sheriff's Service.
Interlocal services.
What are, the library, are they responsible for washing the floors and all in there if they're,
Yeah.
I mean, I wanna know what's the
Yeah, I will
responsibility.
say we're gonna iron this out.
We better iron it.
Yeah, right now, my experience with summer rec was the counselors, we had them sweep up and do things like that. This will be similar to an extent. Public Works is honestly much more geared up to do any kind of major, like fixing the lights or setting up the tables, things like that. I think that basic maintenance can be done by the library. Only an excessive problem, but I think we have a problem. You know, after the Halloween party, Public Works is already there. Those gentlemen take everything down, they put everything away, they clean up. Most of the other uses are really basketball games, there's not a whole lot of people in there. I don't
Well, there's socials too, that they will hold socials, if I'm questioning it.
Well, when we do the socials, we are getting a lot more money. We are getting $150, correct? And
No, that's for everyone.
but if it was a social that came in just for one-time use, they pay $150. So we would have more money if we didn't have
You're
to.
saying for one time.
For one
You don't
time.
have, you haven't had a social there in, I can't tell you the last time.
Oh, they don't have them no more
Assistant,
than
yeah, I don't know.
I didn't know if they still had their.
No, we don't have any, we don't have any socials anymore.
Yeah. I mean, we could adopt a policy when they're.
Well, what we could do is pass a resolution authorizing an interlocal services agreement with the library board in an amount not to exceed $3,500 for supervision of the Harry Williams building from now until December 31st.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Pending approval. So we're just agreeing to enter into it. They would obviously have to
They would
agree
accept.
as well.
And then we could talk about policies more about
Yeah.
our socials, things like that.
Well, I think that the insurance requirements have become prohibitive as to why people don't use it as often as they used to. Because not only are they required to have a liability policy, they're required to have a special clause because they're serving alcohol. So it's really gotten more extensive than it used to be. I mean, that's the only thing I can attribute it to, unless somebody knows something like, or socials maybe aren't just not the thing any longer, the beef and beers, I don't know.
There used to be benefits, that's what I,
People remember make people beer shit.
They don't. I mean,
Yeah, you're right.
They don't, it's gone. I mean, it used to be, but no more.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So it's resolution 117, it's an interlocal services agreement between the Borough of Runnemede and the Runnemede Library for supervising the Harry Williams Building.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
I need a second.
Tornado warning. The cell phones now have emergency broadcast on them.
Okay.
Yes. The tornado warning.
Mr. Pazio, Mrs. Pazio. Yes. Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Capados.
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice.
Yeah.
Okay, this resolution is now adopted.
Payment of bills.
I hope to move the payment bills, all monthly contractual bills relating to bill.
Motion. Second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Fazio. Yes. Mr. Kozlowski.
Yes.
Mr. White.
Yes.
Mr. Williams. Mr. Capados.
Yes.
And Mr. Beatrice.
Yes.
Sorry.
This is the good and welfare portion of the council meeting. Anyone wishing to speak, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address.
Eleanor Kelly, 161 Forest Avenue, Runnemede. Ron Aronson told me that he sent a letter to mayor and council regarding what he anticipated to be traffic problems with the Vault, the new restaurant that's coming at the end of Forest Avenue. Did you see that letter?
I got the letter.
Did council see the letter? Because he said he sent
Oh, I
it
don't
to
know.
mayor and council.
I'm going to check my box.
About the board, on the corner, another that.
Oh,
The vote.
yeah. Was approved by the zoning board.
Is he?
Yeah, his question was, because he thought there would be a lot of extra traffic, if we could make Forest Avenue one way and Pine another way. All I'm doing is conveying the message that he gave me. He said, I sent it to mayor and council. I said, okay, I'll talk about
Ms.
it.
Kelly, the only thing I want to say personally, I've lived in this town my whole life. Before it was a bank, you couldn't get no more traffic.
I agree.
That was a bank for
I agree.
years.
I agree.
You know, I mean, I can't see.
So you did get the letter?
I got the letter, but Eleanor, I wasn't here last week.
But I really can't see Dean doing no more traffic than when it was a bank.
Yeah,
You know?
I just, as a favor to a friend, I thought I'd address it tonight.
I didn't even say it in my
Can
box.
I stop you for just a second? I want to.
Sure.
I'll give you a copy. I wasn't here last week.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
No, I understand you're in the hospital, and does this bring up an issue? Should we have some type of mechanism? Should it go to Tony or something like that?
Well, I don't remember the details about the traffic.
No, I'm talking about just the letter. I don't
Oh, the
know
letter.
about the application.
What
I'm
was
just
the
saying if
letter?
the letter was sent to the Borough of Runnemede.
Well, I don't think I'm the only one that got one.
Well, I'm not familiar with what was the letter, what did the letter say?
I think the question is, if there is a letter that was submitted to the mayor and council, we just need to have some type of procedure to make sure that all council, including the mayor, receive.
Joyce should have gone to you, because Ron is gonna ask me about this.
I've never seen that.
You haven't seen it, all right. I'll talk to Ron.
You can copy it tomorrow.
But I think he should get a response of some kind. The other issue is on ordinance 1210. What's the equipment that we're purchasing for the sewer utility? You didn't mention what the equipment was. 75,000.
One was a truck.
All the trucks,
Two trucks.
Two trucks, yeah.
Two trucks.
Yeah, that one, we need them. We're fixing this stuff up so bad, it's costing us more money.
One's a dual wheel.
Yeah, one's a.
It replaced the two existing trucks down there.
Right.
They're pretty shot, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen them, they are shot.
They're shot.
Ordinance 1213. What will the part-time EMT supervisor actually do? We have a full-time.
Well, the supervisors, last week, there was a gentleman fainted at my house, and I called 911, and Runnemede Belmar did not show up because there wasn't staff. They had to wait for the paramedics to come out of the new virtual. So the guy almost died. And I thought it was a disgrace. Mark, thank God Mark was there, John Moore came, and we kept the guy.
That should never happen.
The lady said well, I talked to Freddie about it, we're not understaffed. So,
What's Mike Kearney doing? I mean, he's only there for,
they're only there for certain times. 7 like a regular job, 7 to 3:30. And this was, I'll tell you what, it was 4:30, because I just stopped home, I had to run out. And I heard the noise, and I went, the guy had a diabetic shock, and he was laying there for a while. And they said, if you haven't found him, he would have passed. But, we need EMT.
so this gentleman will be coming on at 5:30 or
Well,
3:30?
that's what Freddie will make that decision when we need these people.
And he'll be
They're supposed
paid.
to have a backup call too, like the one, if not, they're supposed to, second call is supposed to go out to Belmar or another town. But I never showed up the whole time.
The Borough has never had coverage really between 4:30 and 6 o'clock.
6:30.
6:30.
What was called Belmar?
Whoever, 911 will send anybody. We've tried over the past year to fill that void. One of the arguments is it is hard to get people to show up at that in-between time where they're finishing their job and showing up. From what I understand, this EMT supervisor will do is, we have Fred Laverty who takes care of it for 45 hours a week. They work a 9-hour day. The idea is that when he now leaves, this person would be the middle person to fill out the paperwork and help make sure that people show up and staff and schedule it. And then it's a separate issue though, from what Mike's talking about, is there's still this area where we don't have full-time coverage. We have to work on it.
Well, it's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Good evening, Bobby White, 508 Sigley Avenue. On the rat problem, okay, I've been noticing a few things around town. There's an abandoned house right across the street from me. It's got a lot of boards on the windows. I've been told personally that there's a shed or something in the backyard. That's where the rats are coming out, at least on my street. I found one dead right by my car, almost had a heart attack. I know there's a house behind me, I think it's 717 Hirsch. They mow the front lawn, but they don't mow the back lawn. It's overgrowing in my landlady's backyard. There's a house down on the corner, I don't know if it's, goes on Williams Avenue and Sigley, or it's, also you can describe it as it's got a wishing well on the front lawn. Those people just walked away. There's a pool in the backyard, covered. That means it still has water in it. I mean, they handed out this thing on the mosquitoes. I mean, these abandoned houses, from what I understand, I could be wrong, and excuse me, the borough mows the lawn, then they put a lien against the houses. Who owns the house?
Thanks.
And they're mowing the front lawns, but I can't see where they're mowing the back lawns.
Are you saying the borough is not mowing the back lawn?
I don't know.
Or you don't know
The
who's
one
mowing?
I don't know who's mowing them.
One, the other one was, is an abandoned house. The other one, I know what you're talking about, it's been abandoned. I don't think there's
This
anything
is
in that
code
house
enforcement.
that they stripped in.
Oh, they stripped it,
We
you can
boarded
mow
it
it
up.
down to sell it.
We boarded it up.
Oh, can we send Keith?
That's who we have to send down there, Keith.
Would you leave your phone number with us?
Sure.
If you're willing to, show Mr. Knight exactly where the problem is.
I mean, I've never seen them coming out, but finding one dead by my car was more than enough.
Have you ever called the code official?
Not personally,
Okay. All right, so you haven't reported them?
no.
Can we get your number?
Sure.
Can I get your number?
Yeah. I mean, I was told by the person who sold them, you know, that they were sitting out in their backyards and they could see them coming out of the shed in the back. I mean, I sold a house that's got the pool. It's in the backyard. If it, you know, I can't even sell my landlady's spec without getting bit up by mosquitoes.
Yes, what we have to do, I mean, just, like, you really could have had this problem rectified a little earlier if you got a hold of the code official. That's why we have it.
Right.
So, yeah, as soon as your name and number,
Okay.
we can get in touch with you.
Or, I mean, you know, I just go around town and I'm thinking, I mean, my landlady's daughter was down, she said, this street's horrible. She lives up in Pennsylvania. She says, it looks like a ghetto. You know, my landlady's house is nice because she takes care of it. You know, it's horrible. You know, I mean, it's like, who owns the houses, you know, the bank, the people still own them? Half of them are just walking away.
That's what we're gonna try to get your name and number, because Keith has, some power there where he could find out who owns the property and officially let them know that they have X amount of time to take care of X. And then if that's not done, he has a way to get them in court. We don't have a.
Yeah, I mean, the house across the street from me, there's a mattress on the top deck. And I think that, I don't know if they used to have a pool. I don't know if that's still back there, but I don't know. I'm not going there.
The problem is, from what Keith tells me, is there's only a certain amount of things that we can do.
That's true.
Which is cutting, mowing the lawn, and maybe boarding off broken windows. And I think what we need to do maybe is to expand the duties of what we can do. We can't touch pools. There are pools,
I understand.
there are pools that are filled.
Well, I know, but we don't have,
But we can contact the county.
You can buy
He
them.
does,
Yeah,
he
we
does,
can
he
charge.
contacts the county, and they come down, and they put whatever into the pools to keep the mosquitoes away. But the pools have to remain filled
Until the owner or
until
someone.
the owner
Well,
or
that's
the
right.
bank.
Well, see,
And that's the whole
what,
problem.
that's what Keith can do for us. He can find out who owns the
In touch.
property.
Half the time, they don't show up at
Okay, well, then the court can
Yes.
tell you what you can do. And of course, if you want to do that, we're going to get together.
Absolutely. I mean,
we can't touch personal property.
But
there,
So we take it to court.
you're right, we can't
All right.
touch personal property, but there is ordinances in place that say that the pools will be kept in proper
Now, we know that.
order. If not, it becomes a safety
Can
hazard.
can we have an ordinance ourselves to expand the duties of Keith, or to expand the duties
I think it already exists.
Yeah, his duties are encompassed in the ordinance as to what is property maintenance. And there is a general stopgap for health and welfare and public safety, which stagnant pool water falls into the half-filled pools that are unattended or things along those lines become a public safety hazard because kids trying to pool hop and things along those lines. So those are all things that you would violate for. You can't necessarily take action to make an improvement on it, but we can get the property owner into court.
And this borough has taken action in the past. We've torn down garages that were unsafe. building inspector.
After we notified them.
After we notify them. So we do have to notify everybody, but we can take action.
I mean, the
If
house
it's brought to our attention.
at 717 Hurst, it's a young couple. I mean, I'm sure they don't have a lot, but you're gonna mow the front lawn, mow your back lawn. And I mean, it's just coming over their driveway in the backyard. And they have a baby.
You'll see that with a lot of neighbors, a lot of streets, you'll see people that do that.
I mean, how can you let your baby play out in the backyard?
We don't like it, but there's not much you can do to fight them.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
We'll be glad to do what we can do to help.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll leave you my number.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Pat Smith, 876 Orchard Avenue, and I just want to make a comment because Eddie White, I want to thank him. I'm with the beautification committee, and I want to thank him so much because he's always out there helping us to be early in the morning. And some of the signs that people put around, like the mattress factory, and they're all over the place, and I think we have an ordinance that we're not supposed to do that. Eddie's been real helpful in helping us take the signs down, so it looks beautiful. And I just want to comment, because there was some, the rec center had a sign up for a long time, and it's next year, when you put that sign up, if you don't put it near the memorial, because it obstructs the view of the memorial. And I think that that's for our veterans, and to see the signs up there, if you can find another spot to put it.
Well, hopefully Public Works will do it next year. And Public Works, you can ask them to take it down.
It's down.
They store it.
Yeah.
They store
It's
it.
gone.
They didn't throw it away, I hope. Did they throw it away? You took it down, Mr. White?
Yes, he did. That's why it looks so nice.
Thank you. Because it's very important not to throw things away, give it to them.
But that, it looks so much better, and I really think out of respect for our veterans, and that's really just a nice memorial. We're really trying to keep it up. With this rain, we're gonna probably be out there. Patty will be out there a lot, because I noticed the weeds are growing. But I just want to thank you, Eddie, because you are always there for us and our beautification committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat.
Seeing that-
Here's someone else wishing to speak, I move we close for the welfare.
Can I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Ms. Congresswoman.